I'm crouched on the roof of the barn, shed, garage, whatever it is, just because there's a green thing on the bottom left-hand side of the screen now. Yeah, that's the stealth meter. Finally playing version 1.1, got officially updated to the regular stable channel. Here we are. I'm going to go talk about some Tony Phillips drumming in just a minute, but for now, I want to show you that we got a bunch of crap in the works, and yeah, we're going to ignore that. I also made some farm plots, so I thought we'd take the seeds we have, which is 2 corns, 2 potatoes, 2 pumpkins, and literally that's all of them, and drop some stuff down there, because, I don't know, that seems like a good plan. I have no idea what we're doing today other than it's almost day 27, which means we are a little over a day out from getting ourselves a horde. I think we probably should be preparing for that, which means we should go do some looting or something instead, because I don't know, that's just what I do. I don't do things that you're supposed to do. Oh, you know what? I didn't grab any food. Let me go grab that. I meant to grab some food before we go. So the first problem I had was I realized I didn't even mark the horde base, so we should probably do that and call it horde base. Yeah, that might actually be a useful thing. Let's not worry about this for right now, though. Instead of doing that, I thought we'd just go ahead and drive south for a bit. It turns out we don't have to go very far, and there's a POI right here, which conveniently is located near the airdrop from, I don't know, several days ago. So I promised you some Tony Phillips talk, and I'm going to give it to you because I found myself kind of running down a rabbit hole of, well, kind of started with Tony Phillips. So if you don't know who Tony Phillips is, I'm just going to tell you straight up, a monster of a drummer. Now, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. He passed, well, it's been like 21 years at this point, just about. It's actually coming up really close to the 21st anniversary of his passing. But he was, I think you could probably say, a combination of session drummer and actual band member. I don't know, it feels kind of weird to say actual band member, like that somehow means something more than being a session drummer or a session musician, because let me tell you, there are some session musicians out there, and I am just in awe of them, and it's kind of a crime that we don't know who they are because they are so good at what they do. And I'm not even saying that just to be like, oh yeah, let's throw those guys a bone. No, like legitimately, holy crap. But the whole thing started with me firing up a podcast, and it's kind of a weird thing to say it's a podcast. By the way, I'm just going to tell my story. I'm probably going to ignore most of what's happening unless something really remarkable happens or I need to panic. But Apple Music has a podcast that is Huey Lewis, as it turns out. So Huey Lewis does a podcast for Apple Music, and it is, unfortunately, specifically for Apple Music. So if you're hoping to check it out and you are not an Apple Music subscriber, this is not my way of trying to sell you on it because I get some sort of cut or something. I can assure you, Apple gives me nothing. And in fact, I more or less give Apple money, like all the time. It's really kind of annoying. But that's neither here nor there. It's really more of a radio program than it is a podcast. That looks like a wolf, and we cannot quite get up to that guy. We need some parkour 3. Maybe that's a cat. I don't know. Whatever. So it's an hour-long show, roughly. I think he's posting it maybe once a week, or they're recording it once a week. I don't know. I'd never listened to it before, and I literally just discovered it in the last week or so. And I fired it up today, as in the day I'm recording this video. And the most recent episode he has is a 40th anniversary, I don't know, 40th birthday, however you want to refer to it, episode where he's going through some music that's 40 years old, stuff that was released 40 years ago. So, I don't know. Music is one of those things that I kind of love music more than anything else necessarily, like in terms of like, I love music. I like all kinds of music. I'm not beholden to one particular thing. Yes, I love me, my metal and rock and roll and all that jazz, but I also like a lot of pop and new wave and more old school hip hop, that sort of stuff. I mean, my goodness, you want to talk about like old R&B, like the actual old, like rhythm and blues stuff. Oh my gosh, the Motown. Oh my gosh. Like, I love music, okay? I mean, I can even think of some country and stuff that I like, and I'm really not a fan of country. I can more or less say that, at least. But was listening to this podcast, and it was just kind of going over some different music, you know, things that were released. As I said, 40 years ago. It starts off with some Van Halen, and then he's playing some, I forget if he went from right there to Kenny Loggins, maybe. There was some Madonna in there, and we're going to come back to Madonna in a second. Gosh, I'm trying to think now. It's funny, in the moment, I can't remember everything. There's also Tina Turner. Oh my gosh, man, Tina Turner. Holy cow, if you've never listened to Tina Turner, that's not a good thing right there. Then you owe it to yourself to just dig up some Tina Turner because, oh my gosh, she was amazing. I think there was even some Don Henley in there. Just like an interesting mix of stuff. That's all, you know, as I said, 40 years old, like cool stuff. Well, it turns out when I'm listening to Madonna, the song he's playing is Like a Virgin, which is from the album of the same name. If you don't know much about Madonna, well, I mean, I guess you could be forgiven if you're, I don't know, a Gen Z or whatever, I don't know, the younger generations are these days, or if you just didn't grow up with pop music in the 80s and 90s, you might not know who she is. She was a huge, huge deal way back in the 80s, and legitimately so. Just, I mean, my goodness. She had everything going for her. Like, just straight up. And I was listening to the song that he is playing, so again, Like a Virgin, and I just found myself going, holy cow, like, I really just started listening to it. And this has kind of become one of my favorite things of, I mean, really, most anything, is to sit down and listen to some really super high quality mixes of songs that I've never listened to them in that way before. I say that as someone who more or less has crap hearing. Like, I mean, no joke. Like, I literally had to have surgery on my right ear so that I can hear anything out of it. Like, it's kind of, well, say it's kind of a miracle. It's a miracle of modern medicine that I'm able to hear. And when I say modern, I mean, that's kind of been a thing for, like, I don't know, 50 or 60 years. The thing that I had done is not, hi guys, I need to move, a new sort of surgery by any means. But it's really interesting to me to listen to a song or an album that you know really well, but to hear a really high quality version of it. It's not something that you can necessarily easily do all the time, but, and again, this is me not trying to sell you on anything. Apple has some Dolby mixes. It's Dolby Atmos mixes of stuff. And it's not every album, and it's, most are not. But some of the stuff that I really like, some of the stuff I listen to, they have some Dolby stuff. And I don't know if that Madonna one was a Dolby mix or not, but I can honestly tell you, I don't think I've ever really sat down and listened to that song. And I just suddenly found myself, you know, I'm just kind of bopping along, tapping my toe to it, whatever. I know this song, I've heard before, I know how the beat goes, all the things. And I found myself really just stopping down and listening, and I realized I have never actually listened to this song. And I mean, listened. I was blown away by what I heard. And so I looked it up because I was just curious, like, who is involved in this? Who's the drummer on this? Because I gotta tell you, the drums are outrageously good. I'm not saying they're the greatest thing ever, nothing that's ever been played before, but for basically pop trash, and I say that in air quotes, I mean, just so I can be clear, I don't actually mean that. Let's hope my camera works. I say pop trash because pop music gets, you know, such a bad rap. And I can tell you, it's not fair at all. But I was not expecting what I heard. And I was absolutely floored when I just stopped and really listened. I mean, the drums are just outrageous. They are so good. There are so many little things going on that if you're not a drummer or you don't really listen to music like in just that kind of deep, obsessive sort of way, it might not mean anything to you. And that's totally fair. But As a drummer, oh my gosh, I was just absolutely gobsmacked. I could not really even process what I was hearing. It was just like, wow, this is bonkers. So I looked it up, like, who is this drummer? Oh, crap. You know, who's this guy who's playing on this album? Or who's this person who's playing on this album? Because, I don't know. Tony Phillips. That was his name. That led me down a rabbit hole of looking up Tony Phillips and the people he's played with, people he's played for, the things that he did in his career. Wow, man. He's one of those guys that I imagine most people don't know about, or they people of a certain age are familiar with him, even if they don't know that they're familiar with him, which is kind of a weird thing to say, right? It's like, you've heard him before, you just don't know that you've heard him before. That's what I'm trying to say, because he has played with, like, it's a laundry list of who's who, of just incredible, crazy, just amazing musicians, singers, etc., including, and this is where things really kind of blew my mind, he was the drummer in Power Station. If you don't know Power Station was a supergroup that was a combination of guitar and bass. So the Taylors, I don't think they're brothers, but Andy and shoot, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Andy and Roger Taylor, I think is correct, from Duran Duran, which, if you think Duran Duran is just a pop group, oh my gosh. Holy cow, you need to sit down and listen to their music, because they were just, again, just incredible musicians who also happen to know how to write incredibly catchy music. But wow, I was blown away. And the funny thing is, when I was looking up that album to figure out who is this drummer, I saw that Nile Rodgers produced the album, and I just immediately went, okay, that explains everything. If you don't know who Nile Rodgers is basically like music royalty. He is, he's one of those multi-talented guys. He can play, he can produce, he can do all sorts of things. He's probably known more as a producer than he is a player. But I think if I'm remembering right, Sly and the Family Stone, he was with them, or at least did the production for them. But I know for absolute fact, he did the production on Bowie's Let's Dance album. And there's a reason Let's Dance was Bowie's most commercially successful album. Nevermind is just like a masterpiece from top to bottom. And a significant portion of that, and I mean this with absolute sincerity, is Nile Rodgers. I would say I don't know what it is about Nile Rodgers that he just kind of has the Midas touch, and he, I don't know, seems to always find great musicians, but it really is just that simple. He's that good. And wow, I guess long story long, I had no idea before today who Tony Phillips was. Thompson, sorry, Tony Thompson. Phillips was another person. Rabbit hole. But I had no idea who Tony Thompson was prior to today. And I am so glad that I did the digging and just really kind of dove into things head first, because it just, oh my gosh, absolutely crazy stuff. I'm probably going to go dig up Power Station, their first album again, because I really enjoy that one. I mean, if you don't know Power Station, as I said, that's was a super group with, I was starting to say Duran Duran and, Robert Palmer. There you go. I don't remember if I said Robert Palmer, but yeah, it just really, really good stuff. And we can finally cross this drop off the list, because that's been kind of bothering me for a while now. Anyway, let's go get the other one, since we got nothing better to do. If you would have asked me before I started my day, wow, look at that. That's garbage. What am I going to talk about on, I don't know, the episodes I'm recording for this week? I would have told you with absolute sincerity, I have no clue. Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought I was going to spend the better part of 15 minutes talking about the drummer who played on Madonna's Like a Virgin. But boy, I am so glad I did, because, oh man, it just, such good stuff, such good stuff. I kind of want to go into this place, but I kind of don't want to deal with all the problems, including my cat that is now taking up all the space on my mouse pad, which is why I'm doing the very herky-jerky thing as I very ever so slowly try to, I mean, look at this. Like, look at this. That you can see me. That's as much, here. Nope, wrong one. That one? Oh, well, now she gets up and moves. All right, whatever. Anyway, we can turn that off now that she's decided not to, you know, be obnoxious about it. Here, let's drop off all those things that we just got from those drops. Honestly, I'm not even really paying attention much to what we're grabbing. There's not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to everything we're doing right now. Like, if I just have to be honest about it, I'm just kind of, I don't know, whatever, running with it. We've got a little bit of time before we got to stop down, and I guess maybe we'll eat some stew right now, because that'll just give us some food and water. That's fine. Before we got to really go start preparing for the horde, so I don't know, whatever, it's fine. I am slightly concerned about setting off a bunch of things when we've got those guys around. So, gosh, how are we gonna do this? We are green, so there's that. And we'll go ahead and take the sneak attack on him, and I'm just gonna feed him another arrow because I can. And I realize this is not going to kill this guy, but it'll do some damage. Oh crap, this gun is not reloaded. That's bad. Okay, we'll be fine. We're gonna survive, but it's gonna be ugly. I screwed up. I thought that gun was loaded. I made the rookie mistake I make every single time, which is I never bother to check and see if the gun is reloaded. My bad. Probably should have grabbed the rifle. Hey, it's day 27. It's time to do other things. Oh man, that is a solid break. By the way, I thought that got a new sound. Sounds the exact same to me. All right, super corn seeds. Hey, I mean, you know what? We can use a little more of the rotten stuff, because if we had that, we could make more farm plots, and we can put those super corns to use, and that probably wouldn't be a bad thing. I don't think we have what we need right now. Hold on, I need some cloth. Grab that. Here, can I make a ductile tape? And then I think we'll be able to make a splint. Yeah, no, I was right. I was thinking now we're going to need more cloth than we have. That's right. That's fine. I guess we'll just use one of those then. Looks like there's a health station right ahead, so we'll just split the difference between these guys. I don't know, maybe I don't want to do a tier 4 right now with a broken leg. It seems like that could be bad, right? That could be bad? How you doing? Because I'm not going to be able to jump and do all the things I normally do to avoid these guys, so... But I really would like some cloth just so I could fix the leg. Ah, goodness. I mean, I guess we've done enough today. We've talked about Tony Thompson. I didn't really mention Bernard Edwards, but he also played bass, I think, on Like a Virgin, and also at some point was in Power Station after whichever Taylor it was. I think it's Roger again. I think I'm correct in that it's Roger was the other Taylor from Duran Duran, because I think Andy's the guitarist. But whenever that one, whichever Roger is correct, decided to leave the band, Bernard Edwards took over playing bass. Anyway, I'm going to say this is good enough. We've done some good work today. I really do want to make sure that we spend enough time working on the horde base, so I don't want to get too sidetracked in just silly random looting when there's no real rhyme or reason to it. If there was something I was specifically looking for, something that I thought we really need, I don't know, I mean, maybe I'd be more inclined to do it, but for right now, I kind of don't feel like that's the case. I mean, I guess the only thing I really want right now is to just try and get some more honey out of things, just because I don't know, we can always use honey. At the very least, I'm thankful that we didn't get infected with all this stupidity. Just a broken leg. I can deal with a broken leg. Infections? I don't want to deal with them. I mean, we can deal with those too, but I'm trying not to blow through all of our honey is ultimately what it comes down to. So grab a couple more feathers and an egg. It's really annoying that we only get like one egg every time. Could use a few more of those too. We'll head back to base. We'll go patch up our leg. We'll go work on the horde base because I really, really want to make sure that thing doesn't blow apart instantly, which is absolutely going to happen if another demolisher arrives. But at the very least, we do have some things that maybe we want to look at in storage to see if we want to use them, because we're going to have enough time to plan that out. Catch you out until, and thanks for watching. See you later.